You can't handle the truth.
Hello, my friends. Brother Jim reporting here at End Times Prophecy News. Thousands of Christians killed in Nigeria, genocide by radical militants, ignored by the media, but not here at End Times Prophecy News. Guest post by Peter Emanuelson, most commonly known as Peter Sweden. It was recently reported on the Gateway Pundit that 120 Christians have been killed since February in attacks by a militant group known as the Fulani herdsmen, who were mostly Muslim. Now it has emerged that even more people were killed this Saturday. The latest attack claimed 9 lives, including children, reports Christian Post. The attackers also burnt several houses in the village located to Kaduna State. Open Doors USA reports that 6 Christians, including 3 women and 9-year-old child, died in an attack which sent nearly 500 Africans fleeing for their lives in Congo. The village of Kalal was attacked by Allied Democratic Forces. This group was created in 1995 by Ugandan Muslim rebels. It was reported by church leaders that in the first half of 2018, a staggering 6,000 people had been murdered by Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria. The church leaders, along with persecution watchdog groups such as Open Doors USA and International Christian Concerns, have all said that Christians are being deliberately targeted in these attacks. What we have is a genocide. They are trying to displace the Christians. They are trying to possess their land, and they are trying to impose their religion on the so-called infidels and pagans who they consider Christians to be. Human rights lawyer Emmanuel Ogbi told CBN News in an interview. A former intelligence operative has estimated that roughly 20,000 people have been killed in Nigeria since 2015. In fact, they are an armed extremist group. They have engaged in ethnic cleansing and genocide by international standards. The expert said in an interview. Human rights activist Stephen Enada has said that the Fulani herdsmen have taken after terrorist groups like Boko Haram. And according to him, the Fulani militants have had Boko Haram branding and have been killing people with sophisticated weapons. This story has been strangely absent in the mainstream media, with barely any media outlet covering these anti-Christian attacks. Christians are one of the most persecuted religious groups in the world, but the mainstream media tells you it's Islam. That's right. According to Open Doors USA, a whopping 215 million Christians experience high persecution in the world today. North Korea is ranked as the most dangerous country for Christians. However, Islamic oppression is behind Christian persecution in 8 of the top 10 countries. And skunk Paul Ryan lands a job on Fox Corporation board. There you go. We know where Fox is leading more and more towards Islam. Former Speaker Paul Ryan poked his head up last week to take a swipe at President Trump. Ryan told reporters if the 2020 election is about personality, Trump will not win. Also last week, President Trump told pro-Trump news network Breitbart.com that Speaker Paul Ryan blocked subpoenas of Democrats while speaking, actually that's a misprint, after Trump won the election. Paul Ryan was not on with Trump. Paul Ryan was on the other side, but he landed a huge position since his retirement from Congress. 21st Century Fox announced on Tuesday that Paul Ryan will be a board member on their new Fox Corp broadcast network. That's today. He ought to be a perfect fit for the network, the LA Times reported. Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox has spun off various television assets, including the Fox News Channel and Fox Broadcast Network, to form a new company that will be known simply as Fox Corp. The spin-off, completely early Tuesday, is part of a multi-pronged process that will culminate with the $71.3 billion sale of the rest of Murdoch's entertainment company to Walt Disney Company. The company announced that it had finished the process of issuing shares in the new Fox Corp to investors of 21st Century Fox. Fox announced its board members, including former U.S. House Speaker Paul D. Ryan, a Republican of Wisconsin, not really a Republican, a rhino, And other board members include Rupert Murdoch, Lachlan Murdoch, Ann Diaz, Chase Carey, Roland Hernandez, and Jacques Nasser. The new Fox is now a standalone publicly traded company. The company said its shares are listed on the NASDAQ market. Tuesday marks the first day of trading. And with that, we will go to God's precious word. Isaiah 26, verse 16, we continue. Lord, in trouble have they visited thee. They poured out a prayer when thy chastening was upon them. Like as a woman with child that draweth near the time of her delivery is in pain and crieth out in her pangs, so have we been in thy sight, O Lord. Now you notice in this verse, he's talking about the woman, that child that crieth out with birth pains. And we relate this to the day of the Lord, as it says in 1 Thessalonians 5. But you notice the thing, it says right here, it says, like as a woman with child that draweth near the time of her delivery. You see? So this likeness onto a woman with a child ready to be delivered is referring to the day of the Lord, but what does it really mean? It means that Israel is the woman. As Revelation 12 says, the woman, we interpret that as the woman is Israel, and the woman who had the man-child, who is Jesus Christ. So this woman who's about ready to be delivered is speaking of Israel, because they've been blinded for 2,000 years for putting another Jew, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, on the cross. And so after that 2,000 years, then Daniel's 70th week kicks in. The 69th week was the last week, the 7 years of when Jesus was on earth. And now we have the final 70th week, because the 2,000 years is the break between the 69th and the 70th week of Daniel's prophecy of 70 years you shall dwell in Babylon. Okay, so at the end of this, so this woman who's bearing a child, speaking of Jesus Christ, is going to be delivered of her sins. And this is the covenant of a Romans chapter 11, that he says, God says, I have a covenant with her and I will make good on my covenant. And as to deliver Israel into salvation. But Zechariah 13, 8 through 10 tells us that only a third are delivered into salvation. But there is God saving the physical Israel as well, as Jeremiah 30 says. He saves all of Israel. That's the physical flesh he saves. Salvation has nothing to do with that. Thank you for listening. Let me be serious with you. I would rather that you donate to my ministry directly. I cannot survive financially to keep this ministry and news service going without your help. And we all know there are plans to shut me down again. But many of you would like to receive a gift or product as a token of my appreciation. And I don't blame you. Isn't it about time Uncle Sam started paying you instead of you paying him? It is about time. The federal government pays you your rent check. The government rents out thousands of buildings instead of buying them every year. This is all funded by the current $11.1 billion building fund in our budget. Get your free federal rent check today. Sign up with the Federal Millionaire information here down below. Become a shareholder to receive federal rent checks for life by making a one-time investment as a shareholder. An IRS ruling declares this to be totally legal. This is no joke, no scam, and been for many years. The longer your name is on the distribution list, the larger your federal rent check grows. As inflation rises along with real estate, the government pays you more every year. Starting out as little as $1,800 a month would be your rent check. Wouldn't that be nice to receive
every month a rent check like that? The federal government continues to raise your income as inflation rises. This puts an end to retiring with a fixed income that leaves you going broke as you get older. This will put a major dent in those people who hate their home taxes going up every year, wouldn't it? And folks, the price for this valuable information will cost you only $39 a year or $79 for a 2-year membership. Sign up today.